Hey everybody, Jay Barino here, welcome back. This is IXION. We're going to be starting Chapter 2 today. Chapter 2 is the hardest chapter in my opinion. It's really difficult to end Chapter 2 in a strong position. It really bleeds you dry. It's really hard to get through Chapter 2 at all. It's where many a run go to die. But me min-maxing through Chapter 1, I think, puts us in the best possible starting position we can be. I think if you're sort of following along or you're using this as a walkthrough, you could have used this space down here and made a second steel mill, and you probably wouldn't have had as much dead air time as I had in Chapter 1 just processing iron, just because you would have gotten it a little bit faster. Anyway, let's see where we ended up now that we've fled the solar system as Earth is no longer habitable. So, we have space weather now. We've got a big frosty area over here, and we've got a space storm over here. Frosty area, you generally want to avoid flying through it with the Tiqqun if you can. Small ships, no problems at all. Space weather over here, space storm. Same thing, flying through with the Tiqqun. You take extra damage. You have the potential for your EVA workers to be injured or killed. Small ships will be destroyed or at the risk of being destroyed, high likelihood of being destroyed for flying through that. Anyway, we're here now, so let's go ahead and investigate Falcon 74 and start sending out some probes. I'm going to prioritize the closest points of interest and some carbon, because I would like to set up my carbon factory in a newly opened sector as soon as possible. And with that in mind, I'm going to queue up just deconstructing and getting my resources back for this polymer refinery, because I'm just going to open up the other sector, which requires 80 alloy, so that's that right there. I don't think I even need the Cryonics Center now. We can always rebuild it later, but we can use the materials if we need them. And then looking at my food, I did build this memorial, but frankly, I don't need it. So I'm just going to go ahead and refund that as well, again, because it's unneeded. So just having that extra resources here at the beginning, especially because I'm going to open a new sector, is the way to go. So let's get started. We also immediately have a request, which scares me. Alright, sensors have picked up some unusual readings on the surface of Falcon 74. Sending a team to investigate may allow us to learn more about the mysteries of the universe. This is the Sensitive's crew. We've landed on Falcon 74. Gravity is approximately 4.57 meters per second squared. The atmosphere is corrosive. Without shelter, we estimate our survival time will be 2 hours and 27 minutes. At the site of the unusual readings, we found a huge geyser emitting gas that quickly solidifies into cubic particles upon exposure to the planet's atmosphere. So they're telling you they're in danger and they need something in order to do appropriate research, so that when you're landing on a new planet, a lot of our choices now are to do like small investment, small reward, medium investment, medium reward, high investment, high reward, except sometimes, depending on the circumstances, one of these might result in injuries or death. In this case, they're clearly saying we need something more expansive. Also, the rewards are pretty much always science, and I want the most science, and we can afford 20 alloys, so let's go ahead and establish infrastructure, and we'll send down the Quicksilver to get it set up. Now, my loading docks are full, so it might take some time for this to clear space so that the alloys can go onto the loading decks. Anyway, let's see this. Administrator of the Tiqqun has left the solar system. The crew is convinced that they will never again see the stars that saw them born. This necessary step will unfortunately accentuate dead Earth sickness. -1 stability penalty. They were mad that we were staying in the solar system for too long. Now they're mad that we left. I can understand it, but still, frustrating. We have a permanent stability penalty. But keep in mind, when we were ending Chapter 1, we had a stability penalty just because we stayed there too long. That went away. We just inherited a new permanent one by coming here. So that's fine. We were ready for it, really, at the end of the day. That's what that meant. Okay, so we are waiting for this. We're just going to send out probes as frequently as we can. Again, going to look for polymer. I think, honestly, let's just go ahead and kick this off. Now, I could have opened Sector 3 as well. That would have allowed my food to transfer between these two areas faster, but also we're bringing in raw materials through here because we have 2 docks, so I think wanting my industry to border Sector 1 space sector is probably the right choice. Anyway, let's bump up the game speed and let this go. And recycling this stuff should be fine. Do we have anything queued up after my mushroom wall? No. So in order to get some of the really good upgrades, which are mostly like sub-upgrades, like a lot of this stuff down here, see it says Technology Tier 3 is required. That requires us to have researched everything on this outermost layer. So I'm going to do that pretty soon. The very first thing I'm going to do that's probably going to pay for itself the fastest is the the increased repair efficiency. It's only 5%, but think of that as like that's 5% less iron consumed in this entire system and onwards. So I'm just going to queue this up next, and then when that's done, we're going to go ahead and start moving into fusion station, waste treatment, crop farms. So that sounds good. We're just going to let it ride. Still no accidents. It's kind of insane. It looks like our second sector is going to start feeding iron over here, which is good. That's, I mean, we deconstructed the memorial, and it's going to assist us in opening this up. And the hull does not need to be auto-repairing. I just need to remember, you know what? I'm going to make a safety save because inevitably I'm going to forget. I'm going to forget to turn that back on eventually, and I want to lose as little time as possible. Let's check out here, make sure we're sending probes out. It's like our, yeah, perfect. I would say our closest polymer. Good stuff. Okay, let's keep going. We're just waiting for a little bit more alloy, and then we're going to have to put a lot of attention into clearing all the junk that's over here. So I have my little build diagram laid out for how I want my sector up here to go. So the road is going to be like this. I'm just putting this here just so, like, as a reference point. So I think what I'll do with this is we can go workshop, stockpile for food, and then mess hall. And again, this is just temporary. It's just to allow us to get set up and start building roads. So the roads are going to be getting set up, and I'm just going to go ahead and start expanding down here. Up, over. And we need to make sure that we do connect, yeah, here and here. And like down to here should be good. Yeah, and in this build I do have a road going down the right side. So this is mostly just to clear this stuff out, and then where do I want to put quarters? I can probably do quarters down the side here. So we do that. Is that connected? Yes. And then we go here. And then down to this area. So this has got to be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. That's going to be my houses. So this is going to be the road. Like that. And then we go like that. So we can build some quarters down there. The idea of doing it this way and like strategically removing the resource piles the way that I do is it just ensures that we don't have to rebuild as much as possible. So the less you have to rebuild, the better. Let's come up here and across all the way. We got this one. We got this one. We can do this as well. I don't think I need this road all the way across. Actually, that should be fine for my future plans. Grab that. So that should be pretty much everything. There might be a few spots that aren't caught because some of these larger stockpiles might have multiple parts to them. Like something like that might do it. Yeah. So let's let that build slowly and then keep an eye on what's going on outside here. We still are waiting for steel. Yeah, we're still waiting for steel to get loaded. I mean, truthfully, not a lot of time has been allowed to pass. Let's go ahead and start mining, and we're going to prioritize that carbon. You can prioritize iron, I guess. Well, Quicksilver is helping the colony or the science team get set up. So, yeah, that's good. Just waiting. Just waiting. We can speed up time a little bit. So I'm going to clean some of this up. It's going to take some time for this to make its rounds. Yeah, this is fine. We can put the electronics in a shared stockpile. That should be okay. It's going to take some time. We'll just let that go. And then this down here, we can do whatever we need if there's maybe a request or something that we need to build something quickly. Food is fine. We're not unfreezing anybody, so food should be permanently fine for now. What? Okay, I guess you can do that. And you know what? If you're going to go all the way up and around like that, then I'm going to connect this so you have a little less travel time. I really want to get rid of these. And we need to go ahead and request. Sector 6 needs alloy, food, and electronics eventually. So we just need not a lot of alloy, just enough to kind of get started. And then food, 20 is a fine number. We have plenty of food. And we're going to need to transfer workers over there, but only once we have housing. And we got to get housing set up sooner rather than later so we don't want to suffer a stability penalty. All right. I just want to have points of interest ready to go so that my science team can move on pretty quickly. Okay, carbon is already coming in, so we set you to carbon. And this is nice. We have a good amount of steel just in reserve, ready to go. Okay, my permanent storage is going to be up here along the top. So we're just slowly waiting for this guy. I don't need to pick all of this up. We can just pick up some of these pieces, parts, because my polymer is going to go down here. There we go, and get rid of these. And then let's go ahead and flip my food very briefly over to electronics so that we can grab these two. Okay, flip it back to food. Well, those will get their own thing eventually. Don't worry about that. Clean all these up. Okay, let's make sure that we have some homes set up. So let's do 2 improved quarters down here. Just, I don't want to overspend on my alloy just because we might need it. Oops. Look at this. Turn that back on, Jay Barino. You remembered. Okay. Solving homelessness one step at a time. Science ship team, what you got? Sheltered by the installed infrastructure, the Sensitives team carefully studied the anomaly. Several theories on geysers and precipitation phenomena have been established, providing valuable mission data. 60 science. Delightful. Leave the planet.
Administrator, a new request awaits your attention.
Oh boy. My favorite. A new request. Right there looks good. Oh, we're just going to wait for that 71 science to get sucked up. Okay, here we go. Administrator, crew members are worried about the number of hazards we are coming across in space that were previously unknown to us. They would like reassurance that exploration of the Immortan system will be conducted safely. Promise that no one will die. Promise that casualties will not rise above 5. I promise nothing. We don't know what awaits us. So, I would say you want to pick the not rise above 5. It's the most realistic option, and it's the easiest to meet. I think if you pick no member will die, I think there's a future event that forces a death just to say screw you. So I would say pick the not rise above 5. That being said, I said that this playthrough would show you how to get the Beyond Space and Time achievement as well. That's going to require some sacrifices. So with that in mind, I promise nothing. We don't know what awaits us. So good luck. Now, what I also hope, though, is that the other event that I was describing doesn't fire as well. It's possible that that is only a thing if you're only safe from that if you pick the, not above 5, but I don't know. All right, mushroom wall is freed up. It's 90 steel, and we'd have to turn on waste recycling. That's fine. We want to do that eventually, but we don't need to yet because we still have enough food. So next time we start unthawing people, we're going to set up some mushroom walls. Otherwise, we are just chilling. Let me check my fleet real quick. This is appropriate. You go ahead and start with iron. We don't really need much iron. We had plenty on the docking bay. And plus, we recycled some structures, so that should be fine. We just want to get this housing set up as soon as possible. And then, since my workshop buddy... Oh, no, he's building helms. But let's just go ahead and get this set up. This is only going to come out to about here. And then we're going to get another docking bay. We really need the space to put more ships. Okay, let's see if I can sort of remember how far out this is going. So it's 4 tiles. Okay, I see, I think. So is that 1, 2, 3 was the edge, right? So it's there. Should be fine. And let me just double check. Yes, perfect. And then I'm going to make a new workshop that goes right up there as well, so that we can start tearing down our temporary stuff. Just pause this, though. It's not critical for any reason, so just go ahead and, yeah, you're cool. We have plenty of workers. Let's turn this on so we can repair the hull just a little bit faster in case we need to pause it for whatever reason coming up here. And then start getting rid of our extraneous roads. Connect these. And I think ultimately our polymer refinery is just going to go right here, so we just need to wait for the roads to be done. But we're not in a rush. We can just collect the carbon for now. Okay, sensitive, head over to DOG 0202 and make sure that we are scanning for resources. Again, carbon is really good at this point just because we need solar. The question, I mean, I don't know if we have enough electronics to really do a ton of solar, but we can set up silicon processing down here as well. So ultimately, we're looking to do something like this. This is just a placeholder, so we just, we set it up and we pause it. Similarly, we can get rid of these, get rid of these. We're just cleaning it up right now. Again, trust in the SimCity. I have it planned out. It's going to be great. So we do 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I mean, really just this whole top wall is going to be worked as stockpiles. Eventually, we'll upgrade these into the larger ones. And we're just going to pause all of these. Because, again, this is our industrial sector, so I want multiple workshops holding each resource. That will be valuable. We could set up the ones, once our housing gets situated, I'll go ahead and transfer some workers over because they can be housed. We could bring over another 40, really. Maybe bring them from Sector 2, which has the bigger homeless issue. Actually, they're the ones most likely needing workers, so we're going to leave that. Probes.
A probe has completed its scan.
A probe has completed its scan. Okay, this should be just outside the space weather. I saw some ice as well. I don't know if we can get both. Okay, don't worry about it. Just grab the carbon. Really, folks, carbon and iron are our main things right now. And then you guys made it here. Our probe has detected a distress signal near the asteroid DOG 0202. We've reached the asteroid. The mining ship Sheptil was adrift nearby. It appears to have been pierced by a fast-moving object, killing its operator instantly. External markings indicate the Sheptil was a mining craft of the Protagoras. That's why we're here. The Sensitives team will extract navigation data from the mining ship to help determine the current location of the Protagoras. Sure. And that's our main objective. We're looking for traces of it because we're trying to get the coordinates for Remus. Why the Protagoras is in this system, we don't know. Surely we will find out. Yeah, this is appropriate. Okay, and I really do need some more mining ships, so that's coming. We don't need these now. So I'm mostly just queuing up these structures just so that they're, the space is spoken for. Which is handy. And then that gets road. Perfect. And, I have 2. No, I don't have 2 workshops. I didn't build that one. I guess it chose to build the roads before it started building the houses. Interesting. And then lastly, we're going to set up our polymer refinery down here. That's the one that we need to actually have finished. Same thing, though. Just keep it paused. I just want to make sure that we retain enough resources. Hull's looking okay. We turn those off and process a little bit more of our...
has completed its scan.
Okay, homes are done. Just want to process a little bit more of this and get my polymer refinery running. So this can be iron. Or, I'm sorry, this can be steel. This can be iron. This can be polymer. This can be carbon. So we hit this to carbon and we resume it. And then this one can be polymer and we resume it. This one's going to be iron. So we resume it and then we can deconstruct this one. Workers should be okay. Did I start transferring yet? No, I did not. So how many? I mean, we have so many over here. We have over 100 surplus workers. So I'm going to go ahead and move 50 of them over here, which is going to create a bit of a homeless problem, but that's okay for now. From Sector 1 to Sector 6. Sector 2, we'll just need to build some more houses or upgrade our house. Or we'll just move people out of here eventually. It should be okay. I know I have room up here, but we need a structure to go up there eventually. There's really just not much more room reserved for housing over here. We have too many non-workers in this sector. We can move over to Sector 1 as space frees up. Because Sector 1's going to have more housing than it needs.
The science ship team has completed a task.
Okay, let's check that out. After clearing away the scattered remains of the Sheptel's operator, the Sensitive's crew was able to retrieve navigation data from the ship's onboard computer. 627 iron is great, plus 2 electronics, and it's pretty close by, so we can just mine that no problem. Okay, and because we have the automatic repatriation protocols, we can absorb this mining ship into our fleet, and we're going to build the other docking base so we have a place to put it. But before we do that, let's determine the cause of the Sheptel's destruction. And then let's make sure we keep launching probes. Looking for... Yeah, I was going to say, I'm looking for some silicon. Something kind of close. That is a good haul, so maybe we go for that first. Maybe we go for that first. Yeah, we can get all 3. Perfect. Okay, it's a little far away, but realistically, that's all good. And then we're going to have the other miner we can go ahead and throw on the silicon. How has this not gone away yet? Okay, it's gone now. It's good. We're good. Let's go ahead and grab one more. Optimize. Actually, no. I take that back. I think we want to put our mess hall down here. So this one extra road was throwing me off on my placement there. But yeah, that's how we want to do it. And now I can go ahead and actually connect up all my roads and finish up the structures in need of being finished up. So we get rid of these. Get rid of this kind of stuff. Okay, and we're just waiting for this stuff to actually get collected.
Population transfer complete.
Okay, iron. This is steel, iron, polymer, carbon. So this can be silicon, and then we'll make one more here to hold chips. And we just transferred all our workers, so we don't have to worry about workers. I am concerned about power, but that's why I don't want to overbuild if we don't have to yet in this sector.
Probe has completed its scan.
Polymer factory is only 5, so that's all good. Let's go ahead and just unpause this. And keep checking our probes. Every time I hear the probe has completed its scan, I'm like, one of them has probably been built by now, so that should be all good. Looks like we got a good iron haul down here. We're going to need a lot of iron. There's a lot in this system, but this is a long chapter. We're not going to have to min-max nearly as aggressively, I think, but I mean, I can, and it will help for sure. Okay, keep it up.
A science ship team has completed a task.
And we're going back here. We can repair the Sheptel now. The Sheptel was intentionally hit by a projectile. After careful investigation, the Sensitives team recovered fragments of a shell bearing the emblem of the UN and the word Entimenanki. 45. And let's go ahead and repair the Sheptel, and then we'll get some additional research. Okay, so we finished the EVA repair. So now I'm thinking we just go for this outermost stuff. So let's do, I think we're going to do fusion station, crop farm, or we grab waste treatment. I think we grab waste treatment first, just because we are already teed up to start collecting waste, and we're setting up our industrial sector. So yeah, let's do this, because the sooner we can recycle anything, the better off we'll be. Mushroom farms let us recycle into food. Waste treatment lets us recycle into everything else. Okay, we're going to need to turn the hull back on soon. But for now, we're good. Yeah, all right, that's still going. We're mining. I can't assign my third... I can't assign my third mining ship until my new docking bay is done. I mean, I could unassign the sensitive, because it's going to be like 4 or 5 cycles before it's done, but... Really, no, I don't want to do that. We're not going to do that. We just need to finish this eventually. I don't have enough power for that. We just need to get this rolling, and then we'll get some solar power going. The next thing we're going to do is say in Sector 6, turn on polymer and carbon trading. We want the max carbon, and we want the minimum of polymer. Sector 1 wants the max of polymer, but the minimum of carbon. Get it out of there. And then you're going to be electronics. I mean, this stuff along here is honestly fine for now. We can always move it later. The hull, excuse me, the hull. It's fine. Everything's fine. It wasn't even close. Truthfully, it wasn't even close. Okay, man, we're spending a lot of polymer, but we're going to start making it pretty quick, which is we need a lot coming into this sector. We're going to need that, and we're going to need silicon, which is why I've really been looking mostly for silicon. And there's enough carbon, or there's enough iron at this comet to keep us afloat for quite some time, so that's all good. When you're done with that, go ahead and swap to silicon. Okay, we're really cooking with gas now. This is good. And we're going to get all the silicon and carbon out of this. At least the silicon for sure. And we don't need to roll with this yet. It's fine. I do want to start having a place where we can put the the silicon. So that would be this one. And we don't have enough power for that, actually. So, well, we don't need to pause it. We just need to power it down.
A science ship team has completed a task. A probe has completed its scan.
We can power this down. Science ship team is done. Shepta was sent back to the Tiqqun on autopilot. Great. We're very close to being able to turn it on. We just need to get another solar panel set up. All right, let's leave the comet and our asteroid, whatever it is, and head down here after you're done collecting science. And then let's go ahead and start looking for another point of interest that's kind of close. That looks great. Okay, let's head down to Plymouth. And see how this has 15 above it? That's because we got the deep dive space whatever apparatus thing in research. It just basically allows us to collect some extra science while we're floating around in space. Okay, I have enough power that I can turn this on briefly, because what I just want to move all the silicon from Sector 1, get it out, and then Sector 2... No, not Sector 2. Sector 6 can receive it. And that requires us to very briefly set this to silicon so that it can get out and transfer out. There we go.
Administrator, a new request awaits your attention.
Now your carbon. New requests scare me every time. What are you going to be? Those who suffer from dead Earth sickness experience an intense nostalgic melancholy. According to the Moonshee Care protocols, forms of escapism could aid affected crew members. Sector 2 would benefit from an alternate life center. Okay, I gotta check my build schematics on where I'm gonna put that. I see. Okay. So I will pledge to construct the alternate life center in Sector 2 within 10 cycles. We'll try. So normally I would put it up here, but I've kind of messed up my placement of buildings a little bit. I haven't like messed it up, but like it's fine. We can always we can just build it and then deconstruct it later. That's exactly what I'm gonna do. So we'll just put it there. It's not ideal, but that's where it's gonna go. Okay, we're getting polymer. We're rolling with polymer. I'd love to set up another polymer factory, but we can't right now. Let's go ahead and tear down this stuff.
A science ship has arrived at its destination.
I am going to make another stockpile. I mean, we got a lot of stockpiles in this location. I'm going to flip back and check my industrial thing again. Just a lot of stockpiles in this sector, because we're going to move this food. Okay, we already had enough. Perfect. So we can go ahead. We don't need... Sector 2 doesn't need 60 alloy in it. 30 is fine. The hull is fine.
Trust in your leadership is falling.
That was because we built this. Just power it off.
Power supply overloaded.
Truthfully, I can just deconstruct that.
Power restored.
So we're neutral over here. It's because we don't have our DLS center. Again, how soon do we really feel like we need to set that up? Let's grab it just because if anything pops that is going to cause us... if there's anything that pops that's going to cause us an issue with the crew and stuff, we just want to make sure that is the wrong placement of that. With stability, we just want to make sure we're ready for it. Okay, Mr. Worker, come on out. There we go. That's how we want it. The SimCity's coming together, I promise you. So now we do DLS center here. We don't have enough power for it. We'll worry about that later. We could turn this one off. Turn this one off. How much power does this take? Only 5? No problem. It's an opportunity to finish this one. Okay, and I think, like, regarding our resources and stuff, everything's looking fine. We can just leave the silicon out there and harvest it and bring it in through the other dock once we are ready to go. Looks like science team is also ready to go. Speaking of being ready to go, we're looking for this point of interest. Boom. Okay, Plymouth 37. Our probe has detected the presence of cavities beneath the planet's surface. The readings we are picking up from these chambers are similar to those from strong nuclear reactions. We've landed on Plymouth 37. The opaque atmosphere lets in hardly any light. Geological formations on the planet's surface resemble giant emerald waves frozen in time. We set up near the location of one of the cavities. So 40 alloy, that's a tall ask, but let's do it. Once again, Mr. Quicksilver, you can be the guy. Or gal. I don't know who's piloting you. I guess we can check, can't we? Josephina, indeed. Gal. You know what? Let's go ahead and just deconstruct this as well. Pop this over to electronics. Get those out of there. I defrosted so many people last time that we are not in a rush to defrost people now. It's actually pretty incredible. Wait, another request? Oh. Administrator, crew members feel that their quality of life is important to you. The fact that you have had time to provide them with entertainment alongside your other numerous responsibilities has led some to believe that you are in fact not human. Perhaps instead a new generation PA, or a genetically superior being. We both know that this is nonsense. Okay. Excellent. Trust bonus. Look. Whatever y'all say, okay? It's gone now, but... another one, though? Administrator, despite its high protein count, insect-based food is still tainted by prejudicial feelings of disgust. Complaints about the food sources are increasing. A diverse diet is a necessary ingredient for societal peace. 30 cycles is generous enough, and I was prepared for this. Debugging. So, I'll tell you what we're going to do. It's time for the mushroom wall. So you won't eat bugs anymore? I mean, you're still going to eat bugs. We still got a lot of bug farms, but you're also going to start eating things that come from our trash. Okay? Look, you want these things, you're going to get these things. That's what you asked for. Because I had to decline the science thing, I want to make sure that I'm on top of as many of the other requests as possible. Okay, we can turn this. We can dismantle this. We can turn this one on. And we can make that other one that I had described here for food. Yeah, I think... Yeah, because eventually this is going to be a drone bay. Did I screw this up? I think I screwed it up a little bit. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. No. That's going to be a battery. That's going to be a drone bay. Nah. This is okay. Right? Oh, I'll tell you what I did wrong. The road is supposed to go all the way to the bottom. No. Okay. Well, this is fine for now. Let's turn this off. Power this. How are we doing on workers in this sector? Plenty. Let's turn this on. Swap our policy over to waste recycling. And waste recycling. And waste recycling. What that now allows us to do is we can now store waste inside of our stockpiles. What do I have that I could turn off right now? We don't need all these EVA airlocks on. That gives us a little bit of wiggle room. We turn you back on, and you're going to gather waste. And you have cryopods in you, but that's okay. You are now the waste stockpile. Probably not a good combination, but the waste is going to go in there and immediately get transferred to Sector 3 is how it's going to be set up. So that's okay. We're going to need another stockpile over here for waste as well, because of course we will. So you're going to get turned on and be our food, and then once it's done, we can make this our waste stockpile for now. Or you know what? We can have this be we can have the chips one be our waste stockpile. So we turn you on, and now you're going to collect waste. And we can deconstruct you. And we're going to need to make some more quarters for people to live soon enough. But for right now, we're in a nice little equilibrium again where we have polymer coming in, and we actually have almost enough polymer to make another solar thing. So that'll be nice and handy. More carbon. This, I think, has been a good transition as long as our iron is in an okay spot. We still have a lot on the docks because we still have, I think we have one that's rolling with it. Yeah. We can make everybody bring these back. The mule, let's go ahead and grab these first. Yes. And until we can queue it up. Let's say we really need this solar panel. That's going to get us to a place where we're okay. At least for a little bit. Yeah, you're already set to electronics. You filled it up. Go back to carbon, please. Okay, we've constructed our our new source of food, but in order to actually use it, we need Sector 2 taking in the waste. I mean, realistically, it only needs, like, 12 waste, because I think each one uses 6 per cycle. And then Sector 1 waste, there's nothing that can consume it. Sector 6, for now, we can just send it over. That's okay. Let me tell you something. We're going to pause this and repair the hull for a little bit first. And let's go ahead and power this down, but resume it. The sooner we can get a lot of this stuff built, the better. So this is going to be steel mills. This is going to be polymer.
Probe has completed its scan.
It's going to be great. Okay. Points of interest. And we are also trying to load. We're trying to get resources down here to Plymouth. I think it's got a long way to go. It's going to take 2 trips. We've made 1, though, so that's good. Okay, and again, we still have more than enough iron to keep this running. And then eventually we're just going to get a steel mill over here and start bringing more iron over in this direction. So there's not much to do other than wait. We're going to turn on intense propaganda here momentarily. So that'll be done. Let's build some more housing over here. And then we can shift these buildings over because I screwed it up. Silly, silly. And I guess for now, we want Sector 6 to have a little bit more iron, or steel, excuse me, alloys. Okay, go ahead and absorb those that we just picked up. Great. Back to carbon. Saying that it can't transfer it for some reason. Oh, because that's full. That's why. Ah, okay, great. So that's done. We're no longer exporting any, no longer exporting any of our precious alloys from the ship to set up this stuff. The fleet says we have somebody. It's the Pride. I thought this was called the Shepthal. Well, it's the Pride now. Fine. The hull is good enough. Let's go ahead and resume this. Just getting that power topped up will be great. I think hard mode, one of the things is just the power consumption. I think solar just gives you less power, period. Okay, and I would love to get a second mushroom wall here. It's just pricey, so we'll pause it. But you can see our food is spiked up to 120%. That's really, really good. It's just alloys.
You can implement a new policy.
I'd love to implement intense propaganda, please. There's really nothing here that assists me with alloys. But what I really would like to do as well, so I can just sort of lay out how this is going to look. So we get 2 electronics factories. And we go steel mill, steel mill. We could get a third one over there. Polymer. And then this is going to be waste treatment for now. I could actually get 2 waste treatments, I think, the way this is set up. Because otherwise I would just get housing down here, which we actually kind of need. So, yeah, for now, let's just go ahead and make this waste. So this is all paused because we can't afford to build any of this right now. But it's just there to show that this is where we're going. But what I would really like to do is, yeah, build a few structures, a few population centers here. So, like that. Run a road down the side. Yeah. But for now, we pause all this just because we don't have the alloys. That's all the more reason to set up another steel mill as soon as possible. So as much as it's nice to have the polymers coming in, I really, really need to get everything else up and running, but we need better steel production before we can do that. So I'm not as concerned about the placement of these structures. We'll move these eventually. It's not hurting anything. I just need to shift them over by 1 so that it fits more snugly with the rest of the build. So I'm going to try not to think about that. And we're just really, I think, focused on exploring the system, uncovering as many resources as possible for mining in the future. I'd love to turn that dock on now. Can I do that? It's still being built. But we can afford to power it on. We can afford to power this on. Soon enough, we'll have enough silicon or polymer to build another solar thing. Yeah, this is good. Okay. And then this can be...
A science ship team has completed a task.
Okay, well, that's what I like to hear. Our team was able to survey one of the many crystalline cavities beneath Plymouth 37's surface. Inside these gigantic geodes, huge crystals are bathed in toxic and corrosive gases. Despite the hazardous environmental conditions and the disorientation caused by the cavity's kaleidoscopic nature, no incidents occurred. The team was able to draw new conclusions about subterranean nuclear activity and its impacts on the formation of crystalline structures. Great. Okay. And... cool, 60 carbon. We can do this. We're preparing for takeoff. We spotted a geological formation that appears to house some sort of cave dwelling. We're requesting permission to investigate. We can do it. I can tell you now it's pointless, but that's okay. It's for the memes. All right, so really, we just got to get one of these set up like as soon as possible, right? We could turn you back on. We really need all 3 running at this point, so power is immediately another concern again. We can't even turn on a second steel mill without powering down other stuff. I'll tell you what, though, we don't need these ice stockpiles turned on, so we can leave those off for now. We do have a lot of power-intensive stuff running over in the food sector, too. And I don't have enough waste consumption happening either to use all the waste that I'm now collecting. So there's a lot going on here, okay? There's a lot happening that we have to worry about, and a lot of it just comes down to that alloy production, which requires a second steel mill. We're not running this yet, so we could turn that off. And over here, the steel mill and the tech lab are feeding waste out of this sector. Over to here. It's using it up reasonably quick. That's fine. We don't have much storage for food because it's...
The science ship team has completed a task.
So I will say, that probably allows us to turn off some of these superfluous bug farms. That'll save us some power. Probably 2 more can afford to go. Not only can they afford to go, let's get our money back for them. Perfect. Science team is done. After approaching the supposed location of the troglodyte dwellings, they were revealed to be nothing more than an optical illusion. This effect was caused by the light flickering through the thick fog on Plymouth 37's atmosphere. Nothing. The team will store their equipment and leave. Great. So let's collect this. How is our mining doing? You know, this is great. We're going to get... Wait, the docking bay is done, right? So let's go ahead and toss our new mining ship over here. Actually, I think what I want to do is unassign here. We can build a second science ship, because I would prefer it if I had only one cargo ship per dock for now. I'll build more cargo ships eventually. Yeah. So that's cool, that's cool. Because otherwise it overburdens the docking bays. Okay, that's good. Okay, what do I have actively being built right now? I need to turn on one of these to collect steel. So let's do that. Sector 1, Sector 2, Sector 6. Sector 2, we're going to say no alloy for you right now. Turn off the hull repair. We need to stock up. We need to bulk up on it just a little bit. Okay, that's just power cost reduction. So now let's do fusion station and cryo farm. Fusion station lets us melt ice into water, which we can then use to supply the crop farms and get a different source of food. So that'll be great. We're going to queue both of those up. We have plenty of science. There really wasn't a rush to get those at all, because we're so far away from being able to build them, it doesn't even matter. So we're going to roll over to Fargo 39 next. Let's go ahead and shoot a probe out, looking for more points of interest. I think there's enough resources on the map to be mined that I'm not in a super rush yet to uncover anything else. Just seeing if I can get the iron with that as well. Man, yeah, it's really just... I mean, I could deconstruct this and move it over here. I don't know how much value that really adds for me right now. We just need... So we need to hope that the hull is giving us a little bit of a buffer right now. Okay, that's right. We're doing the waste. We're doing waste recycling first. That's fine, because I don't need...
A science ship has arrived.
Any extra waste can start accruing over here. Actually, I don't think we have enough. I don't think we're going to have enough waste accruing over here to really matter. I don't know. Because we want to make sure that Sector 2 has enough to run the mushroom farms, but then anything left over should stay in Sector 6. That's the plan. Pause here. Science team is here. You know what? I think this is a good spot to stop for today. We got a lot on our plate. We're going to be able to start recycling, but it's expensive. It requires 50 waste, and then you could turn it into 50 alloy, but we don't have enough waste production to realistically do that. At least not yet. But once we can get a second mushroom farm going, and once we turn on the rest of these factories, then we're going to have plenty of waste. So it's going to work out. It's just we're slowly sort of approaching it. And in the meanwhile, we are going to just explore this system like crazy. We've already made a good amount of progress. On the plus side, we don't have any need for ice at this point. Not yet. We have some for when it's time. The other thing is, now that we've set our policies, we don't need these DLS centers. In fact, we could remove them entirely. They're not providing us any benefit literally at all. Just for the sake of, you know, the nice, the builds, I don't know. It pleases me to know that they're there. It feels maybe a bit exploitative to remove them, as if you don't need them, but we did need them to set our policies. Okay, well, hey, thanks everyone for watching. I'll see you next time. Bye-bye.